我が道は炎と槍とともに。竜騎士とやらの力使わせてもらうぞ。
Hello, I'm Silveroxus, and this week is the Final Fantasy IV collaboration event for Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent. Yes, it's coming before Nier. The unit being reviewed in this video is Sazantos EX, the Dragoon honoring Kain's legacy, who was also buffed. Role overview: his class is Merchant. His role is a Spear DPS / Massive Spear Enabler now. His special abilities is Lack Magnolia. He is a Dragoon and thus can jump to do extreme damage and set up buffs to stay on him while in the air, while jump still can't break and will always go first and thus miss a turn of break potentially. While he is in the air, he gives all units a spear follow-up attack after they take an action. Secondly, all his jump skills have 100% potency up attached, which isn't all potency up, and therefore can stack with other sources to make them even stronger. His preferred weapons would be Brilliant / Stalwart Spears for damage cap, as he will be slamming that easily with his jump attacks if set up properly. Fortune Spears for P-attack are fine if using his other skills or not getting the cap fully. His preferred accessories would be Spear damage up if lacking Richard and or Porticio, as needed as he has none of his own, otherwise as much damage cap as you can spare. His passive skills, his 1-star passive, he gives himself 30% capped physical attack up. 3-star passive, self 100% potency up when using jump skills / his ultimate jump attack. This does stack with other sources like Solin's ultimate for an effective 300% potency on jump skills. And then his TP passive is while in the air from jumping, after a front row ally takes an action, they perform a one-hit AoE spear follow-up attack, 1 × 200 power, so that's a pretty strong attack. Skills, for his skills, his base skills, he gains jumping and lands the next turn with highest priority, 1-hit single target spear. A 1-hit single target win that grants self-priority action on the next turn, and if using at least 1 BP, it becomes 3 hits. A 2-hit single target spear that inflicts 10% P-def / spear res down for 2 turns. A 2-hit AoE spear that inflicts 15% spear res down for 2 turns. A 3-hit single target spear that grants self 15% physical attack up for 2 turns. A 1-hit single target spear that absorbs 30% of damage dealt as HP. Other skills would be a 1-hit AoE win that grants self-priority action the next turn, and if using at least 1 BP, becomes 3 hits. A 2-hit single target spear that inflicts 15% physical defense and magical defense down for 2 turns. And grants himself jumping and lands the next turn with highest priority, 6-hit single target spear exploding fire and wind, and this skill gains 50,000 damage cap up. At 6-star, this damage cap increases by 7, goes to 70,000 instead, and this skill was buffed from 4 to 6 hits. His TP skill is a 3 to 6 hit single target spear, hits based on boost level, and inflicts 10% physical defense and spear res down for 1 turn per hit, with guaranteed critical hits at max boost. The added debuffs were buffed. Like, he didn't used to inflict 10% P-def and spear res down for 1 turn per hit. That was new, which is actually pretty helpful for extending buffs. For his EX skill and his ultimate technique, his EX skill has 1 total use, and it's now always available, which means you can now use it on turn 1. And that's good because it's a priority 8-hit single target spear that exploits fire and wind and inflicts 30% physical defense and spear res down for 2 turns. The spear res down was added as a buff, as well as the use condition removed. This is going to make him really good for speed clearing, because he can cap physical defense and spear res down debuffs and instantly in 1 move. His ultimate technique is a damage class ultimate, and it costs 4 BP to fully charge from ultimate level 8. It is called Dragoon's Pride. Gain jumping and land 2 turns later with highest priority, which means he's going to be in the air for 2 turns instead of just 1. So he won't land next turn, he'll land 2 turns later, which is good because that means while he's in the air, more follow-up attacks can happen from the other allies. Then he lands with an 8-hit AoE spear that exploits fire and wind. This attack gains a 10,000 damage cap up, and it scales upwards towards ultimate level 10, becoming 12 hits at ultimate level 10 for 12 times 90 power. Ultimate level 10 priority, they buffed his hit count from 8 to 12 hits. Ult 10 him first. This is the single strongest attack in the entire game, even including current JP units as of the time of his release in Global now. And remember, you can stack his potency up passive with Solid's ultimate for this. And yes, if you want to do the math and calculate it, go ahead. But this attack is stronger than Pardis' potency, and it's now 12 hits instead of only 8 hits like Pardis can get. So overall, Saz EX can do more damage if you stack the damage cap on him now. That kind of almost makes it worth missing a turn of break, especially once Nier releases and you can have 3 turns of break, because he can land and do 12 hits of just full cap damage, and not many things are surviving. So moving on to his Awakenings and A4 accessory. For A1, any good DPS wants A1 to hit even harder, but be sure to ult 10 him first. A2 is a luxury, could take more debuff options, but it's not necessary to have. A3 is a luxury. Strange, well, he already has good HP and defense as a merchant and spent a lot of time in the air, which means he can't be attacked anyway. His A4 accessory is called Kain's Dragoon's Gauntlets. It gives 100 P attack and 40 crit. At the start of battle, self-gain 1 BP regen for 3 turns, and while at full HP, AoE 10% spear res down. The A4 tier rating this is a B tier. It's a solid A4, but nothing game-changing. Good P attack stat. BP regen is always nice, even though there are multiple sources of that. And the AoE spear res down is fine, except passive spear res down is actually pretty easy to get if you have a good spear team. Cool to have, but he won't even use it on himself as he needs all the damage cap you can give him. Not worth chasing on banner. For an optimal skill loadout, I would say to take his skill 1 should be his TP 3 to 6 hits that also debuffs physical defense and spear res, because it's good hit count and it helps stacks the debuffs to last even longer. Because you also always have his EX skill too, so this is mainly just to extend his debuffs. For skill 2, I would say you could take his 3-hit single target that buffs P attack, so that way he has a way to like cap his P attack if you like use Richard to buff his spear damage and his P attack, as he can self-cap, he can now cap the P attack buff. Skill 3, I would say you could take one of the 2 hits that debuff something if you still need it, or to extend buffs like that. Skill 4, another debuff skill, or the single target self-heal if necessary. You'll notice that I didn't put any of his other jump skills. That's because you sacrifice a turn in order to jump. Even though the other one becoming 6 hits is nice, it's not really necessary unless you specifically want to nuke something through shield. It's almost always going to be better to set up to use his ultimate as his jump move. So you want to set up debuffs and like his buffs to freeze them on himself, and so then he flies into the air and then slams with all the buffs still active. So for unit synergy, Solon, Spearbreaker with Swift Strikes, and the ultimate potency up that stacks with Saz EX's jump potency to give his ultimate 300% effective potency, going from 12 times 90 to 12 times 360. Roland, Spear Support to cap and extend active debuffs and inflict passive spear res down and ultimate spear res down. Asuka, great main sub DPS to Saz EX, benefits from the follow-up attack to deal even more insane damage on break. Particio, Spear Support Master with active spear damage and ultimate spear damage up and passives for spear damage. Richard caps active attack and spear damage up and can also cap ultimate spear damage up with Particio. Shauna for regen, HP up, damage cap, BP regen, she's got it all. Premex is another regen option without damage cap and ultimate attack up buffs if needed. Allrund, a future release spear support with amazing ultimate support options. If you'd like the Dragoon Slam every 3 turns, Allrund is your man, because it would be possible for him to, like Allrund, to restore Saz EX's ult use and refill his ult gauge, so then he can just immediately jump and just keep slamming, either with as well. Near future release, I know that because they switched the Collab order, so you get it. It's funny because now Sazx isn't the future release. Near's the future release. Get it? It's funny. He is a staple for spear teams due to being able to extend break by an extra turn. Compensates for Sazx missing a turn of break with its ultimate Dragoon jump, because now you're slamming even harder. Because you get that extra turn to work with, so literally nothing is surviving a turn of break now against spear. Alright, so to pull or not to pull plus his rating, Sazantos EX was already the best unit in this collab. Now he's even better and still the best unit in this collab. Before, it was arguable if it was worth chasing him on a triple banner with 2 used units, worse units. That's still the case, but it's also a bit harder to justify full skipping now, because he can now self-cap active physical defense and spear res debuffs and do absurd damage. The buff to his ultimate makes it even better as it was already the highest potency move in the game, and now it does more hits, which offsets missing the first turn of break to land. Spear is the strongest damage type in the game currently by a wide margin. However, it is extremely limited in nature, needing 2 collab units and a champ unit now, and 2 MTs being Richard and Partitio. Partitio's an SMT. But if you already own most of these, Sazantos EX will fit in nicely and will literally soar you to new heights. As always, please pull for whoever you like, regardless of advice, and have fun your way. For Tier 4, F2P, I'd skip unless you have most every other limited spear as already as mentioned, because like him alone is not going to be enough to just suddenly start giving you massive spear clears, because then there's nobody to take use of his follow attacks. So you mainly want to have like Roland and Asuka if possible, or like at least some of the other ones like Richard and Partitio to give him passive spear damage up. Tier 3 low spin / patches, skip, except same as above, or 20k plus rubies. Like if you're really healthy and rubies and love Final Fantasy IV, go nuts. Tier 2 Dolphin, at least ult 10 him. A1 ult 10 is the max you'd ever need. Tier 1 Whale, A4 ult 10. He won't use his own A4, but it has great utility for others. Overall rating, DPS, SS tier, that ultimate's insane. It's just insane. Like, it's 12 hits of the maximum damage cap that you can possibly give. It's good. Support S tier, because of those debuffs now. He can cap 2 debuffs instantly on turn 1. That is really good support for the type of team that he's going to be in. He doesn't have any healing or tanking, but overall I would have to give him an S+ tier now. He's not like SS must pull, but he's extremely solid for the spear meta now. I am biased as hell towards Dragoons, I will fully admit that. I am pulling for him to get, I am in Tier 2 Dolphin tier myself. I'm going for A1 ult 10, I will stream my pulls, but I will hopefully get what I want for him and use him a lot in clears, because I'm really looking forward to using him, because he's a really fun unit to play with. But anyway, please like, follow, and subscribe for more future COTC content. Please let me know if you have any questions, or if you decided to pull, or what you're going to go for below. I look forward to seeing that, and please look forward to check out the other videos for the Final Fantasy IV collaboration series. And otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.